Hey everyone, how you guys doing today? I had the camera back farther, but it's gonna work better for me. Please trust me when I say that because if I have it too close, like I feel like I have to jam to get stuff up. So I think I'm gonna try to use this. Hopefully this distance will work for it. So these are finds I got from the Tampa record show. Um, as always, I got myself in some trouble. Great show. If you're in the Florida area, Tampa area, even Orlando, it's worth the drive down. There's some pricey shit there. I ended up having a really good show selling, and then I bought some stuff at the show. So these are what I picked up, and I just want to get into it just because there's so much to show here. These first 7 CDs I got from a vendor, and they're all $1 a piece. So a lot of this stuff I plan on reselling. I might sell higher for it or lower for it, but I'm going to go back into record selling full time if I can help it. First one is John Coltrane. I don't know how close I am to that. This is Anthology of John Coltrane. There you go. I'm going to pull it back a little bit. This is a really good jazz compilation off of Rhino Records. It's got about 18 tracks on here. I'm not like a huge John Coltrane fan, but I don't hate him either. It's a good compilation to have. It's got a nice booklet to it right here. I love like anthologies. I'm a sucker for these. Like if I see these things for an artist, I just jam on them. There we go. Yeah, you can see a nice booklet here. Yeah, it looks cool. I mean, like I said, I'm not really a big fan of his, but I do like him. So, and yeah, that's not meant to be like as a play or anything. That's just the kind of the truth. A few from the '80s. I picked up Bryan Adams, Cuts Like a Knife. I want to say this is his second studio album. Bryan Adams' second studio album. It is, I kind of like this more than Reckless just because I feel like he's still sort of raw. It's a little bit more raw sounding. Reckless feels so fucking arena sized, Reckless feels to me like it's just this big, huge arena rock record, and all the songs are these big stunners. I mean, every song on there, like It's Only Love, Run to You, Heaven, was it One Night Love Affair? They all feel like these huge anthemic songs. Summer '69, and what I like about Cuts Like a Knife is it feels a little bit more. There's some poppy stuff like This Time and Straight from the Heart, but there's some, it feels a little rougher around the edges, I should say. Uh, like I'm Ready's a killer track on here. Cuts Like a Knife, the only one. It's a pretty good song. I think maybe a little too many ballads for my taste, but whatever. Another pop classic from the '80s, Crowded House. 1987 released by Crowded House. Awesome record. This is just I think it's just Neil, Finn, and there's another member from Split Enz, not his brother, but Neil, Finn, and somebody else from Crowded House. And this is great fucking pop music. Love will make you weak, make you run for cover. Just great pop music. I don't really need to say a lot about it. Well, that's awesome. This CD I had back in the fucking day, dudes, and it's pretty. Like I picked this up at a flea market, dudes. I feel like a frat boy, dudes. I picked this up at fucking like. I picked this up at a flea market in 1994. Didn't know what it was, and fell in love with it, and befriended this guy at a hospital, this doctor at a fucking hospital, and he was like the fucking cherry. Loved this band, and that's how we started forming a friendship. And this is Television Marquee Moon. I know it's kind of more like post punk or art
rock or whatever you want to call it. I always consider this to be like a fucking punk record. It was right at the advent of punk. Would this come out in um, 77? So it's right at the advent of it. It's just a great record. I'd love to get this on vinyl. I didn't like the follow up Adventure as much as this one, but Marquee Moon was always my favorite record. This has got a no, it does not have Johnny Little Jewel on it. Maybe that's on the other record. But See No Evil, Venus, Friction, Marquee Moon, Elevation, Guiding Light, Torn Curtain, Prove It. All these songs are killer. It's very melodic, very fucking. I love the Verlaine vocals. I love the guitar work in it. It's just a really good punk album. I call it punk. I don't give a shit what people say. The next four I picked up, but the next three I picked up from this guy's table. These were $1 a piece. They're all in the metal, hard rock. Guns N' Roses Greatest Hits. Didn't need it, but got it anyways. So, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a Guns N' Roses completist, especially on CD. And I did not have this on CD. I like the fact this covers some of those songs on Spaghetti Incident, like Since I Don't Have You, Ain't It Fun, and Sympathy for the Devil. That Spaghetti Incident is one of my favorite records by Guns N' Roses, their cover record, basically. But this has got some songs off of the Use Your Illusion albums. And, of course, Welcome to My Nightmare. And, yeah, I love Guns N' Roses. So, just to have it is good. This one, I was stoked. This was the first CD. I saw this guy, and he's like, 6 for 20 albums, $1 CDs. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to spend some money at your table. Because a lot of the records there were overtly priced. And this one, like, I was so fucking excited to see. This is Bullet Boys with Freak Show. I don't know if I could show you that. You probably can't see it. Second album by Bullet Boys. Once again, album produced by Ted Templeman. This is, I don't think, is quite as good as the first Bullet Boys album. I'm going to set it down. But it's solid. Any hair metal, any metal I find on CD, cassette, or album, I keep. I do not trade. That's the stuff I keep in my collection. Punk, I'll trade some punk in. But unless it's like really good punk, hardcore punk, usually hardcore I don't trade, but I just traded some hardcore in, which I don't really do a lot of, but whatever. I do when I have to, as long as I keep my hardcore. Like I got a lot of Exploited and stuff like that. I ain't selling that shit or G.G. Allen, but I'll trade some of the lesser known stuff. But the metal I don't trade at all, ever. And here's another one from 1991. The end of hair metal as it is. But this band was kind of considered hair, but they never were, I think. Great White, Hooked. The follow-up album to Twice Shy. Great record by Great White. I like the fact you see the... Sorry about the glare on that. There you see the fin on it. Yeah, it's pretty good. It kind of goes off where Twice Shy goes. And Twice Shy is probably my favorite album by him, next to Shot in the Dark. I love that album. Yeah, this is, it's got some good songs. Call It Rock and Roll was like the hit. Cold Hearted Lovin' is good. Can't Shake It. It's just got a little bit of a boogie to it, kind of like Twice Shy did. I really like a little glam aspect into that sort of bluesy Led Zeppelin thing they were doing. I always loved Great White. They were always like kind of like Tesla to me, or Cinderella. Like, these bands weren't like the hair bands like Poison was, I'm trying to think. Who's another like just straight up hair band? Trickster, or bands like that. Bands I like, but like not the same thing. On the more extreme aspect of metal, this band I love, and I don't have anything by them on vinyl that I know of. I don't think I do, or CD. either. I might have one CD of theirs, I don't know. And one of my favorite death metal bands. A lot of people love this band, a lot of people hate them, but this is Cannibal Corpse with Evisceration Plague. So this is their follow-up to, I believe, Kill, which is one of Cannibal Corpse's better records. I don't know this record at all. I've never heard it, so I'm not sure. I know George, what's his name? George Corpse Grinder Fisher. What the fuck is his name? Is the vocals, of course. Chris Barnes is long gone. This is a real nice CD box set here. It has a DVD of the making of this album. I would say this is pretty good, you know, death metal. I think I like this. I can't remember what year this was released, but I really feel like Cannibal Corpse is one of those bands people love to hate. I've heard people say the term Walmart death metal, which is always a bunch of fucking bullshit, in my opinion. Cannibal Corpse is just great. You either like them or you don't. There's a really good documentary that you could see on YouTube called Centuries of Torment. I believe that's the name of it. That is kind of goes through their history, very detailed. And I didn't know this, but when I went and saw those guys live, they were great. I was in line in this we're waiting in line, and I said, "Who are you guys here to see?" to this girl and her friends. She goes, "Our hometown heroes." And I go, "Who's that?" And they go, "It's Cannibal Corpse." And I go, and they acted like I was stupid. And then I saw the documentary, and then I was like, "Wait, you're stupid. They're from fucking Buffalo. They transplanted down here to Florida, where I live, of course." Well, you wouldn't know that, but yeah, they're transplants. They're not native Floridians. So, anyways, I guess it doesn't really fucking matter, but I just find that kind of funny. But yeah, Cannibal Corpse is awesome. Still to this day, one of my favorite death metal bands. I don't give a shit what people say. They say they're trash and Walmart death metal. I'm like, yeah, but you can't get their shit at Walmart, so that doesn't make any sense. This next one is a box set. This one was $12. A little bit more than I wanted to get. On the Cannibal Corpse, that was $6 for the CD DVD combination. This one was $12. It's a box set. I'm a fucking sucker for box sets. I buy them. I usually get them in the $10 to $12, $13, $14 range. I don't care. I'm happy with that. And this one is a Columbia Legacy release, and I don't know if you're going to see it, but it's the Birds. I don't know if you could see that. Yeah, you could probably see that. So this is a really nice, like I said, 4 CD set from Columbia, and I'll show you the inside. Real nice booklet right here with the Bird stuff. Lick it open. There's some pages of the Birds bands. Let's see if I can find anything interesting in here. Yeah. And this came with, it's still got the shrink, which was with the song tracks on the back. This is kind of nice. These are very, very in good shape. And there's 4 of them. So this is like the historic recordings, like the whole history, I should say. Like a real nice detailed anthology of the Birds works. And first one is Final Approach. I'm guessing this, well, this is probably the 4th one. This is the first one I pulled up. And Full Throttle, the Birds. Love the Birds. I think, you know, this goes from the very beginning to the very late era. This is, we have Ignition, so this is probably going to be the first record, and Cruising Altitude. And this has, I should show you, there's song tracks on the back of this. There is about 24 a piece on here. So, really, really excited to have this. I remember there was a time where I was really, like, the Birds were probably my favorite band. And it was in my 20s. I just could not get enough of them. Like, I was always buying their albums, or mostly I was buying a lot more CDs back then. But, man, I would always be buying their fucking CDs. Notorious Bird Brothers, Fifth Dimension, anything I could find by him, Sweethearts of the Rodeo, Farther Along. I loved everything the Birds did. So this is really cool to have. Great band. All right. So showed you the CDs. Let's get into the albums. This is going to be probably, for a lot of you guys that watch the channel, this is going to be a fucking shocker for y'all. But to me, I bought what I felt like. I sometimes will buy a lot of stuff just because I'm in the mood for it. Sometimes I'll be really into disco and soul. And then other times I'll really want just punk and noise and metal. And other times I'll want like classical. This one was kind of outside of my normal wheelhouse, but I picked up a lot of 70s prog and psych. So I know there's a lot of channels that do that, but you're going to have to see more of it here because that's mostly what I got, 70s stuff. Mostly, yeah. So the first one I picked up was from a dealer. I bought 4 records from him. He was an older guy, and he just sold psych prog. And when I first started going to the record shows in the 90s, or no, the 2000s, I should say, 2007 probably, when I went to the first one, there was a guy there, we called him Prog Guy, and he really liked progressive rock, and I learned so much from him just like talking to him about progressive rock, something I wasn't listening to at the time. I was always like, progressive rock was always a turn off for me, or psych music I wasn't really into, and then over time I've grown to really like it. But that guy, so this guy, that was his name was Prog Guy, that's what we call him. But this guy, his name was Jim, and a very, very nice guy, very knowledgeable on the progressive psych stuff. So these are the 4 I bought from him. This is Lindenberg. I can actually pull this thing back. You don't even need it that close. Self-titled album, first album by Lindenberg. I'm going to say, I think he's Dutch. Or is he German? No, he's German. Udo Lindenberg. And he's been a long-standing sort of crooner or not crooner, pop singer. He kind of reminds me a little bit emotively of like a Charles Aznavour or a Serge Gainsborough. But this album is kind of more haunting psych folk, I guess. There's actually a cover. He does a cover on YouTube of 99 Luft Balloons, which is really, really good. He sings it very passionately. So this is kind of singer-songwriter meets psych folk. Probably the least psych thing I could show you that I picked up from this guy. This one looks really, really interesting to me. This one was $5 too. The Lindenberg was $5. This is Pekka Pohjola, and this is the album is Everyman, 1983 release through Breakthrough Records. So Pekka Pohjola, I guess this is kind of, there's a lot of like ambient moments in it, and it's psych, experimental psych, I think, ambient prog, I guess. Not experimental psych, ambient prog. The next one I'll show you is more experimental psych. But yeah, so I've not heard this. This is going to be really, really interesting to me. I love the cover. Like I said, I don't know if I showed the back, but kind of interesting that they're showing basically like an art piece right here, but we'll see if I like it or not. I have not heard any of it, so I don't know. I didn't get a chance to go to and list soundbite this next one was more the experimental psych from Italy, and this is a 2014 reissue from England, off of Cacophonic Records. Is that the name of it? Cacophonic Records. This is, I hope I'm saying this name right, Brian Roskovich. Brian Roskovich. Is that right? Brian Roskovich with Abnormal Sensations. So kind of, like I said, this more experimental psych. These guys come from, like, I think, background doing giallo kind of music. I have not heard this either. I don't know what it sounds like. I just really, really like the back of it. So, Italian group. This is going to be probably pretty interesting to me. We'll see. So, if anybody knows this, Brian Roskovich, let me know. I don't know anything. I love picking up shit, and I have no clue what it is. Here's another one. This is a band from Michigan, where I'm from. Not in the same area, but from Auburn Heights, which is kind of a suburb of Detroit. This is a band called Boa, and this is Wrong Road. So I like that cover. This is Psych Prog, hard rock kind of stuff. This is off the MLA label that was originally released in '71 and then reissued in 2013. So I'm not familiar with Boa. I don't know, but fuck, I love Michigan kind of bands like this that I don't know anything of. I kind of collect this shit because I'm from Michigan, I suppose. But yeah, could be really good. Like it says Psych Prog meets hard rock. A lot of this stuff, guys, I've never heard of, so it's going to be like explaining it to you. I don't know. So those were the 4 I picked up from him. The next, I'm going to show you, the next 12 was from a dealer that had the 6 for $20 sale. So altogether, these were about $3.50 a piece, or $3 and a little bit of change a piece. This first one, I have no clue what it is. Hessel is the name of the artist, and the album's called Flamborough Hotel. I think this was reissued in '83, but was released originally in '77. So Hessel, I believe, is a Dutch singer, and it's kind of like, I don't know, he's got a really good voice, like soulful voice, but it's in that Bruce Cockburn, sort of Warren Zevon, sort of John Hyatt, that kind of singer-songwriter, a little bit of rock. His voice is very soulful and at the same time very poppy, but it's not, it's like singer-songwriter in like those guys, but a lot more soulful than those guys were, I think. So at least the song I heard on here, Brother Sagittarius. But I've only heard one track because that's the only thing I heard on here. I would love to sound check these a little bit more and play them a little bit more. And maybe I'll do that in future cases. But fuck, there's nothing I could do about it because, man, it's like fucking, This next one is a common record, but I got this. This is usually like a dollar bin record, but this is kind of a more interesting album by John Denver, and you're like, John Denver. And John Denver is awesome in my opinion, but this is a more interesting album, and it's got a really interesting cover from the normal cover. This is Airy by John Denver. I thought this cover is so much more interesting than the original cover, which shows like him standing over this like sort of dawn thing. Well, anyways, John Denver. Thoughts on this album? Very, very, nature-oriented folk singer-songwriter sort of things you get. The interesting thing on this with John Denver is he does do a little bit of bluesy, and it's a little edgier than most of his albums. He's got a song in here called She Won't Let Me Fly Away that's got a little bluesy stuff, and he talks about the transition of a vet back to his country, a song called Readjustment Blues. This is super fucking a super good album by him. Some of those albums like Calypso and this and Back Home Again are just fucking great. And no real big hit on this except for Eagle and the Hawk, which is, the big hit on here. And his version is City of New Orleans, which is kind of, in my opinion. But I'm going to try to buy all John Denver stuff because, fuck, it's usually really cheap. That one, $3 is probably the most I've ever spent for a John Denver record. This is something I've never seen this guy's stuff in the wild, or if I have, it usually goes for a lot of money. This one, albeit it's not his best record, I still decided to take a chance on it. It's Jake Holmes was So Close, So Very Long Ago. Polydor release, 19. What's the year on this? It's gonna drive me up the fucking wall. 1972 or 73? Shit, I don't remember. Early 70s, white Polydor. I'm not going to show you a lot of the inner records on here because it's just a waste of your time, but yeah. Of course, everybody knows that Jake Holmes sang and performed the original Dazed and Confused, which I think the Yardbirds did a cover of it, and then later, of course, was performed by Led Zeppelin, very, very much so. This dude sometimes, like, he fucking will, like, lay all his emotions out and can get a little sappy at times, but I love his, like, smooth voice. He's got a smooth voice. I think it's kind of intense at times, but here's an example. Let's just read some lyrics for the sap. There's times when a person, just any old person, is a very good pillow, if you know what I mean. When the wounds are still open and the feelings spill over, it's hard to be touched till the healing set in. But I'll stand nearby just in case that I'm needed to offer advice from the places I've been. I don't know, kind of cheese, but kind of, that's alright, you know. Jake Holmes. Cuddling with his woman, and she's kind of fucking hot, kind of a young looking Jessica Lange a little bit, and Sandra Bullock thrown together. Although I never really thought Sandra Bullock was hot, but I fucking like her movies, man. Fucking, you know, a movie Sandra Bullock was in, I fucking dig it. I mean, I'm an unabashed fan of Sandra Bullock. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Sandra Bullock, yes or no? And if you haven't seen the Miss Congeniality movies, come on. They're fucking great. This next one is really, really cool. This is the Tornadoes. And this is Remembering the Tornadoes, kind of a greatest hits compilation that was released in, what was the issue date on this? 64. The Tornadoes were basically England's version of the fucking Ventures. And they had a #1 hit here in the States with a song called Telstar, which is a really quirky instrumental song that has like space, kind of like elements and sounds of space thrown into it. But the Tornadoes had kind of two jobs besides being a great instrumental band. They backed up Joe. They were basically the house band for the great producer Joe Meek, who actually did a lot of instrumental work himself. And they also backed up the great England rocker Billy Fury. So two firsts for the price of one, if you ask me. I'm a big fucking fan of this stuff. I just like it. I'm a huge Ventures fan, so the British version of the Ventures isn't too bad. So yeah, Telstar's a cool song on here. Night Rider's a little fucking weird, but I kind of like it. Love and Fury, Riding the Wind, Jungle Fever. Really catchy instrumental rock from the early 60s. Yeah. And actually, I'm putting these away as we go, but that's how it's going to have to be. The Official Adventures of Flash Gordon. That's right, a radio airplay. Going back to 1966 on this one. Yeah, I'm going to pull this back because it's covering my face. So this is on King Records. No, sorry, Leo the Lion Records. And it's a teleplay, and it's got 2 stories in here. I love this old radio program shit. You have side 1, Decoys of Ming the Merciless, and side 2, Flash Gordon and the Mole Machine. Big fan of this radio play. I'm pretty sure this is going to my fucking brother. I'm a big fan of this shit, though. I really, really, really dig it. All right, we're gonna get in some interesting territories here with the next. Wow, trying to get through all these. These next stack right here are all still from that $6 table, so I'm gonna try to get through these fast. Claude Dijon with Moog and the Moog synthesizer. Yeah, so Claude Dijon, jazz pianist, pretty accomplished from France. This guy could play almost any style from like Father Hines to like what's his name? Shit, I can't even think of the dude's name, but yeah, Art Tatum. He could do kind of different styles, and Creed Taylor, he can kind of play like him. But yeah, this is phase 4. If you see that phase 4 up here, you see this phase 4. Anything I see this phase 4, I usually get because it sounds excellent. It's just it sounds so good on vinyl. Yeah, this is Claude Dijon doing like Moog music. It gets a little weird. The first few songs are kind of jazzy, and then it gets into the spacey, more electronic stuff. It's probably the most diverse album he made. And this is considered by Moog enthusiasts, which I'm not really one of them because I don't know a lot about it. But it's considered one of the essential Moog albums. So, yeah, I don't know. One more time the back. I think that's kind of cool. Yeah, I saw those Moog stuff. I really don't see a lot of that shit, but, what the hell. This next one is an absolute Moog classic, and this one I've had in my collection before. It's on the Command label. It is the Electric Eclectics of Dick Hyman. Dick Hyman, another jazz pianist, another guy who would play any kind of style, could play any kind of style. Actually, yeah, well, anyways, he could play a lot of the same kind of stuff. Piano jazz dude who'd been around for a long time. I want to say, I think Dick Hyman also got into lounge. He was one of the lounge pioneers, too. But this is a really interesting record. Very accessible, very poppy, but pretty out there for Dick Hyman, if you're familiar with his work. This one's kind of got the spacey concept in it, and it's fucking excellent. Definitely, if you're a fan of the Moog, Moog music, that weird, whatever it is, a keyboard, organ, whatever the fuck it is, pretty cool. This next one, I'm super fucking happy to get this one. A lot of these I just took a chance on. Like I said, there's kind of a 70s theme that runs throughout most of this. Yeah, I mean, I would say almost every record I got was from the 70s. Yeah. So, this is The Clowns. The Clowns with Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey. So, the guy who was basically managing the circus at that time had signed the Clowns to or managed them and got them a record contract off of RCA Records. This thing is sealed. And if you look very closely, they got the clown makeup on. There's a band called, let me see, so you can see it. Well, some of them do. There's a band called Hello People, and they did what was called mime rock, and they wore pasty white makeup and shit like that. They were fucking awesome. And so this is kind of an extension of the Hello People to an extent, but it kind of stops there. This is very, very good bubblegum pop. Very, very good. If you're a fan of the Ohio Express, of 1910 Fruit Gum Company, of the Archies, this is in that fucking great sugar bubblegum pop record. Songs on here like Good News, Honey Bunny Day, Lady Love is terrific. I like the song on here called Yellow Sunglasses. I love fucking this early 70s pop stuff. I had not heard of the Clowns, and it's with a K. Klowns. This shit is, if you like early 70s, if you like that shit, you're gonna love this. It's in the same fucking vein. Lady Love is just terrific pop song, along with Yellow Sunglasses. on here. Honey Bunny Days. What the fuck, Chuck? All right. This next one is going to 1973, and is on MGM Records, and this is Stanley Steamer. Call 1-800-STANLEY-STEAMER. Yeah, that would be great if this was just vacuuming music, huh? Well, maybe not. Picture of the band back here on the Jolly Rogers record label. Jolly Rogers. Can you see that? Maybe not. Early 70s soul funk. I would say like soul funk. Great vocals on here by what's her name? Holly Vaughn. This is kind of reminded me of like some early 70s soul stuff. Like, and I when I first heard it, I was like, oh, she's white? She's very robust and very soulful. Her expressive voice. And the songs are poppy too, so there's a little bit of a pop element to it. But this is some great shit. The second song on here, or the only song on side 2, Three Humors of Man, is a very long, almost like fusiony like track, funk fusion maybe, and that song really stands out. But a lot of this is just like I said in the soul canon. So Stanley Steamer, I would definitely recommend this one. It's good from what I heard. I mean, most of the stuff I showed you is really good until we get to this one, and this might be my first strikeout for the day. I have maybe 2 strikeouts on here. You know, I don't know if I got any. I do got a few home runs, and I'll show those in a bit. Since we're talking, since baseball season, we might as well go for it. This one I swang and missed on. I'll probably like it, but if I give it a little bit more try, but I don't know. I just like the cover, and that's what I bought it for. But I really should have paid attention to this one. Tongue. The band is Tongue. Explainer. How fucking stupid that looks. I mean, I should have fucking known, like, right off the fucking bat. 1990 release for Tongue. I can't believe there's a band called Tongue. I mean, it sounds so fucking stupid. And this is, it's not reggae. It's like cheesy calypso dance stuff. I guess with some reggae rhythms in it. It's pretty fucking atrocious. When that reggae shit or the calypso stuff started getting in the 80s and they started adding like fucking drum machines and keyboards, some of it I kind of cringe at. In Tongue, I definitely really fucking cringe at. Yeah, this sucks. I listened to about half of this last night and I was just like, there's only 5 songs on it. Miss Palmer, which is awful. Soca Wall to Wall, which is okay. Curfew Jam, the Palmer Dance Mix. The last song on here I kind of like, Too Hot for Me, but this is really, really fucking horrible. I'm not a big festive Caribbean, Coda Island music fucking guy, you know. This stuff is really atrocious to my ears for some reason. But, you know, I'm going to sell it, so I don't care. I'll listen to it. I'm definitely going to spin it all the way through. I listened to about half of it yesterday. You know, I drop checked some of it. This one, out of all the records I picked up and that were like 6 for $20, this one's probably my favorite. I was super stoked to get this one. It is Woody Guthrie, and this is the greatest songs of Woody Guthrie as on Vanguard, as performed by Woody and other artists. So I'm going to go through and just tell you what artists are on here. We have Odetta on here. Well, I'll tell you some of the songs they sing too. And Odetta doing Pastures Aplenty. Of course, Woody Guthrie singing his own songs on here. This Land Is Your Land and Dirty Overalls. A bunch of songs by him. You have Country Joe McDonald on here with When the Curfew Blows and Tom Joad. You have the Weavers on here doing Jackhammer John and This Land Is Your Land. They do a cover of that. Cisco Houston is on here singing Jesus Christ and Do Re Mi. You have Ramblin' Jack Elliott on here doing 1913 Massacre, and they're all covering other songs too. Odetta is on here. Jim Queskin is on here. So kind of a cool. I like the fact they add actually Woody singing in here. I'm a big fan of Vanguard. That was a great fucking label back in the early days. I'm gonna actually open this up so you can see it. Joan Baez is on here too. If you can't really see, yeah, you should see her right there. She kind of looks like Tiny Tim. Oh, that's fucking ridiculous. I mean, I'm sure Joan Baez fans everywhere are like, fucking that's horrible. But yeah, and the Vanguard label, I even like the Vanguard label. It's usually this. Well, this doesn't have the real cool inner label promo, but you can see it's a white, which means it's a promo. This is that usually I like the inner label like sort of prints on these, but this one's kind of bland. But hey, you know what? You can't always get what you want. And all these records are in like good shape. Like VG that I could turn around and sell back. And the last one, and this one's a little bit of a disappointer too. I want to say, yeah, this is a German band, and this is like German Toto with Pankow in Clean Stars. And yeah, exactly, kind of soft rock. They add elements of new wave. Fuck, Toto did that. It's okay. There's a band called Pankow that was on like Wax Trax in that band. I don't know why I would think that band would like look like this fucking band. Like the American version, the German version of Mr. fucking Mister. I listened to about 2 or 3 songs and I was already getting fucking annoyed. So definitely I'm gonna put this in my dollar bin and see if somebody wants it. I get really pissed when I invest money, even $3 into something, and it doesn't work out. I get super pissed about that. All right, so the next four I picked up were from a vendor who was telling me about his marriage problems, and he was like, my wife is pissed at me. And I just kept saying to him, I'm like, you know what? Just show through action. Whatever she's mad about, show through action, show through behavior, and be consistent with it. And then she'll fucking love you. That's what I say when with women. Like, if they're pissed off and they want you to do something, if you want to do it anyways, fucking show through behavior, show through action, and just be consistent about it. And, maybe they'll forgive you, maybe they won't. I don't know the context of what's going on with him. This first one, I usually show records. This is the most expensive thing I bought, but I usually show records like the most expensive at the last, but not this time. I'm showing them by vendor, and this was in the order which I bought them in, so I'm just going to leave it at that. This is a really cool reissue from 2004. Deep Throat Part 2. That's right, Deep Throat Part 2. A nice Light in the Attic release. You can see that Light in the Attic right there. I've never seen Deep Throat 2. I've seen the first one, which is great. But I've not seen the second Deep Throat. I love 70s porn. It's great shit. It's almost like exploitation porn stuff. I fucking love it. I just like the griminess and the exploitativeness of it. And I also like the fucking, I'm not gonna lie and say, oh no, I just like that part of it. I like porn. Fuck it. A lot of people do, and they won't fucking admit it, or they still like it. America's got such a dumb fuck attitude about porn. They act like it's so risque. It's like, come on. Not all of America. Some of these fudgers, they're so fucking lame. Here's the inside of this. Nice. Linda Lovelace went all Christian weird too, and was very, very much against the porn industry, and she was exploited and all that. Like towards the end of her after her career was over, and maybe she was. I don't know. I wasn't there, so in all fairness to her, But this is a really cool record to have on vinyl.
I had one other porn soundtrack before, and I fucking dug it. Kind of cheesy, sort of like, I don't know what the music sounds like on this, but like on a lot of them, it's kind of, they try to be funk and disco-y, and you know, kind of the music is kind of just cheap and cheesy and awesome. So I'm hoping the same thing for this. I thought this was the first Deep Throat, but I'd love to get that soundtrack too. I'll be looking for that one. But yeah, this is, I don't have a huge soundtrack collection, but this one is most excellent. Probably my favorite prized find of the day, to be honest with you, out of everything else I got. Love this fucking band. There is another one up here I'm excited about. Love this fucking band. And this band, like, sort of, like, to me, they really blur the lines between hard rock and metal. And it's Ohio's own The Gods, self-titled album from 1978. This is fucking excellent. These guys want to be like fucking bikers. This is off the Millennium label. You can see that label there. Home of, who was on Millennium? Miko, maybe? Fucking Frankie and the Knockouts were on Millennium. Tommy James was on Millennium for a second. There's the band back here. This, to me, like, this is where, like, you know, a lot of people were like, with the Rods, you know, being the Rods being like, they were like hard rock metal. The Rods are just straight out metal. And so this isn't the same thing, but this band to me is almost just a straight out metal band. You know, they have the metal imagery, they wear a lot of the leather and stuff like that. But it is also kind of goosey, loosey-goosey, kind of biker hard rock. But I always considered the Gods like a fucking metal band. You know, where like a lot of people were saying the same thing about the Rods. Not that these two bands sound the same, because they don't. But a lot of people were saying the Rods were more like hard rock. I'm like, the Rods are fucking metal. And I think the Gods, even though they, like I said, they don't sound the fucking same, there's something to me that's like, you know, whatever. The price on the Deep Throat was $20. This one was 10. I don't really see this stuff out much, and I've been really a sucker lately for buying old records that I had, and I had this in the past, but my copy of the Gods was much cheaper back in the day. I don't remember what I got for it, but I got something for it. But yeah, I fucking love the Gods. Big fan of biker rock in general. Alright, that one was 10 bones. This one was $7. And I've heard about this album quite a bit, and I'm just more interested in hearing this than anything. I've heard, I swear, with this album in particular, with this band, I've heard about this album more than any other album. Just conversations of people talking about this album. Not that it's controversial or even that memorable. I don't know, but I've heard people reference this album multiple times with this band, and curiosity got the best of me. This is the 1975 U.S. press of Caravan's Cunning Stunts. Yeah, that guy's got to show off his hair and chest. This is off of BTM Records. Caravan is a kind of folky, I think, progressive rock band. I'm not really familiar with them. I think this record is a little bit more kind of off the beaten path, maybe. You know, there's the inside record. I might as well pull it out. I don't know. I had some Caravan. I really liked it. It kind of reminded me. It was kind of even psychedelic, some of the stuff I heard from what I can remember. So this, I'm not sure. But yeah, fucking $7. You know, it's not like a Caravan album you see a lot of, or at least I haven't seen this. I've seen other albums by them, but it's usually their earlier shit. So I decided to, maybe this is like 5th, 6th studio album. I don't know where it stands. I know they're a British band, you know, and I'm not even sure what they sound like altogether. I mean, that's sad because I've had their albums and I still don't know what they sound like, which is sad. We're getting to the end, guys. We only got a few more albums left. Finally, I'm going to have a fucking video that's under 50 minutes if I can help it. This next one I'm stoked about because I almost bought the first album I almost bought the first album when I was at the Kalamazoo record show, and if you guys seen my Kalamazoo record show pickups, you've probably seen that I didn't get it. Kalamazoo, Michigan, anyways. This one was $14, and I was so excited to get this because I've been wanting this album. I have the second album, which is on this, but nonetheless, I had to get it. ELO, and this is basically called Milestones. This is a Dutch compilation of their first two albums, basically. And this was $14. I thought, 2 LPs, one special price. I've been wanting this fucking... And now I could sell that second ELO, which I have as a single. I've been wanting this fucking album, No Answer, forever. I remember back in the day getting No Answer, having it for a fucking $1. Now the album's going for, whatever, goosey money. There's a picture of the band back here. And this was reissued, or this was issued in 1977. And it's off the Harvest label. Fucking happy as fuck to have this on vinyl. I love Harvest. This label is like, if I see it and it's on Harvest, that means it's good. I swear everything on this label I've liked. At least for me. I can't speak for everyone else. I know Pink Floyd was on Harvest. I think Sensational Alex Harvey Band was on Harvest. I think Bebop Deluxe was on Harvest. There was a lot of good fucking bands on this label. Yeah, so their first album is really great, very gritty. So is the second one, kind of progressive, added, with obviously classical elements. And I was talking to the guy at the thing, and he goes, everybody, the guy I bought these from, and he goes, everybody wants Out of the Blue, but they don't know their older shit. I go, yeah, I know, like the second album, No Answer, El Dorado, In the Hall of Mountain King. These are all so fucking great records by ELO, and definitely not in that disco stuff they were doing, which I like. So I'm not gonna go with like their later stuff sucks. I love Xanadu Soundtrack and Twilight and those albums. I fucking love Secret Messages. I love all that ELO shit. Not gonna shit on ELO at all. Love that stuff. But the earlier stuff, of the first album, Roy Wood was on. Second album, it was Roy Wood, Beth Bevan, and Jeff Lynne on the first ELO album. I'm going to give you a tidbit too, something you guys might know, you might not know, but I'm going to seem like a fucking music trivia dummy, but maybe you guys know this, maybe you don't. But No Message, the first ELO album, and the second ELO album is just called ELO 2. The first album was called No Message because the record company was trying to get a hold of the band to come up with a title for the album. They did not get an answer when they called. Hence, the album became No Answer, which really means dumbasses, pick up your phone, or we're going to title the album whatever the fuck we want. So, awesome shit. Love ELO. I mean, that first album is so good. So good. These three I got for $3 a piece, and there were 3 of them, and I wish I would have saw this guy's bin earlier, because I would have picked up, like, probably spent $50 at his table, because he had a lot of, like, really obscure 70s stuff I had not heard of. I've not heard of one of these bands, and each one's got a weird name. This is Pot Liquor. Pot Liquor. Yeah, you can see it right there. Band from Louisiana. I wonder if there's a cool gatefold in here. Yeah. Love the cover print on this, though. I do kind of like this, even though it's cheesy. I don't know. This band was like Psych with some, they're from the South, but they're not like Southern Fried, like bluesy Psych with a bit of kind of Southern Fried gospel thrown in, I guess. They cover Lady Madonna on here. They do a gospel song in here called Beyond the River Jordan. Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, bluesy, kind of gospel tinged Psych, I guess, and gospel tinged in some of the songs. But any band called Potlickers definitely worth the thing. And this is off the Janus label, so I couldn't beat that. I mean, that's pretty fucking cool. I'm gonna start buying this stuff, this old 70s weird shit that's rare. I mean, it's pretty cool to have. That way somebody flips through my record collection and they're like, what's Potlicker? What are you gonna say? Oh shit, you guys, it is over 55 fucking minutes already. I'm gonna scram through these. Flying Island. This is their second album, Another Kind of Space. This is on the Vanguard label, 1976, and I got nothing. I got nothing to say about this shit. That's the Vanguard I like, the interlabel Vanguard right there. Jazz fusion. It's pretty much jazz fusion, and I gotta say the one song I heard, this is a promo copy too. The one or two songs I heard didn't really fucking do much for me, but I might like this. It's probably going to be sell bait. You know, somebody's really interested in this for a few bucks and wants to pay shipping, I'd send it to you. Otherwise, I'm selling it. I didn't hate it. I think their first album's a little better, but from what I've heard, but I don't know. So Flying Island is the name of the band, and Another Kind of Space. Because I love this 70s shit that I don't even know what the fuck it is. This next band might have one of the stupidest titles. And you think of stupid titles for bands? Go to 1983, OXO. Duke Jupiter was a really stupid title for a group. But I like Duke Jupiter, but I hated that name. But this band, and I'm sure there's other ones that I can't even think. But this band might fucking put the nail on the coffin. This is Wiggy Bits. Wiggy Bits. This is a 76 release from Polydor. Wiggy Bits. Supposed to be kind of like straight up fucking hard rock. I've heard. I now this is one I have not listened to. I didn't even soundtrack this one. I didn't have time. What I wanted to do was get this up before you know, while it's hot. If I put Tampa Record Show, you know, people will want to see it if I put it up in the first few days. So I'm going to upload it tomorrow probably. You know, I don't want to wait on that because you wait, you know, people are going to lose interest in it. That's how fickle the YouTube universe is. If I was to do a Record Store Day release right now, I would get no views. It's fucking weird, but they gotta do what's in the now, right? It's fresh and it's in the now. But the only thing to note on this, besides it's supposed to be kind of hard rock, is that the singer on this was, and there's a few band members from Blues Magoos who joined Wiggy Bits. That's right, Wiggy Bits. Wiggy Bits. The stupidest fucking name for a band I've ever heard. Well, not dumbest, but Pepe Castro is in this group too, and he was in Blues Magoos and also in the excellent early 80s band called Balance. Balance with the big single they had, Breaking Away, which is a wonderful song. I want to say I think Bruce Kulick who played in Kiss was in that band Balance. I fucking love Balance. I've been looking for that album too, but you know. So Wiggy Bits, kind of hard rock, I guess. I've not. Maybe somebody knows what it sounds like. I don't know. Really one of the dumbest titles ever. We're almost done. This album I had been looking for a long fucking time. And I'm glad I finally got it. I mean, this is a kind of a common album. At least if I was in Michigan, Ohio area, it'd be more common. Because this band's from Ohio. But I had this in the past, but not in this good a shape. This is Breathless, self-titled album. 1979. Just a picture of the band on the back. That's right, Foghat. Foghat's fraternal twins started another band. No, not really. This is a project that was led by Jonah Kostlin, of course, who was in, I think he played like piano or keyboard or whatever in the Michael Stanley band. And this is like kind of AOR, kind of new wave, power popish, rock. Yeah, from the late 70s, 79. This was released, so on EMI Records. So yeah, you know what I mean. If you've listened to this kind of style of music, or it's 1979, it's probably going to have a little bit of power pop or new wave or whatever mixed in, sound really cool for the time period. The songs are really catchy. Taking It Back is such a great song on here. I think that was the lead single. And then Nothing's Gonna Change My Mind is another terrific song on here. Alibis, another great song on here. Nothing's Gonna Change My Mind, I think, was recorded by the Michael Stanley Band, but was written and sung, at least on the live album Stage Pass by Jonah Coslin. So I don't know, he bought his version, and I love it. So, yeah. Breathless, I want to finish this up. Detroit-based, kind of guess, I don't know what you would call these guys. Another promo copy from '85. This is Norman Nardini and the Tigers. Look at him trying to be Tom Jones's. So, this was $3, whatever. Off of CBS Records. This kind of is just like rock pop. It didn't really I couldn't really think of what it sounded like. It's just like pop rock for its time. He's got a little bit of an attitude, he's got a little Peter Wolf in him, a little swag to him, but not really completely like that either, I gotta admit, I only listened to one track on this, and I thought it was just average. That's another one I might trade in or sell later on. Oh God, we got 2 left. Earthquake. Yes, Earthquake. 2 years in a padded cell. 1979 released by Berserkly. Great shit by Earthquake. This band is really, really interesting. They started out in the early 70s doing kind of more like straight up hard rock. And by the late 70s, they kind of, so you can see that good. By the late 70s, Earthquake kind of still stayed hard rock, although there's a little bit of a power pop thing to them. They're the hardest rocking band on Berserkly. I mean, you think of the Rubinos and Greg Kinn was on there and Jonathan Richman. That stuff wasn't really hard rocking, but that Earthquake stuff is. And I want to say I think Ronnie Montrose played on that album, So last thing, which is not really the best way to bang the show out, but what the fuck? This one was $5. I just picked it up from one dealer. It's a douche gramophone release under the avant-garde thing. It's a bunch of different artists on here, and I'll show it to you in a minute. David Bedford, 2 poems for chorus, Gigori Ligeti, Lux Eterna, Am Melnis with Sucism, and Marek Kopelent with Matka. German press of classical music from the 20th century. Ligeti, I've heard, I think Ligeti was actually in the Shining soundtrack. One of his pieces was in there. If it's not, and I think Lux Eterna was used for a soundtrack too, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, that's what I got. I had showed you guys 27 albums, which I didn't think I was going to get that fucking many. 7 CDs, 1 box set. It's probably, looking out the door, I was probably spent about $220 maybe. But I had like $100 ready in my pocket, ready to go for that show. So like $120 I spent there, maybe $230. I don't know. I don't remember. But I got a lot of stuff for the price I paid for it. So I feel like I did pretty good. And that's it. Yeah, Tampa Record Show. Did well, sold well, got rid of everything I bought up there. I got rid of. I just said take it. The only other thing I want to bring up, and I'm going to bring this up very quickly, was when I got back from the record show, and of course, tired, exhausted, I get a text from my friend Andrew,
that my friend Ken Dale passed away at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was just thinking about the time I was waking up to get ready for this record show, just waking up, get my coffee, opening my eyes, that kind of thing, and the fact that he had passed away at the time I was waking up. I was in a band with Ken for about a year and a half. We did a lot of videos. If you want to look up any of our stuff, if you are really politically correct, don't watch it because you're going to be offended. If you're not, check out Igor and the Lunatics. If you look up the band, you'll see we put a bunch of videos on. I would characterize us as being kind of a lo-fi noise, goofy band, like lots of humor. But some of it's rock and some of it's got keyboards. It's kind of in the middle, I guess, between both of those styles. They go bounce off one. And he had lived in a town called Kalamazoo, where I lived at, and I used to go to do record shows with him. We used to travel around the state and even into Indiana and Chicago sometimes and Detroit and do these record shows together. So we were on the road all the time. Used my car some weeks. We later used his car when mine got repossessed. Yeah, it's definitely a blow to me because this is the person I probably spent more time creating with than anybody else. And I hate people when they say he's going to be missed. Ken was definitely a person that was kind of hard to get to know, and definitely was a person that wouldn't let you in right away. But I kind of knew him, and he was definitely interesting. My friend Andrew said he was a 14-year-old boy trapped in a 55-year-old man's body. And I think he passed away from renal failure, which I had no clue he was sick. Every time I talked to him, he was talking about going to see a concert like Neil Young and this and that. So I was really fucking taken back when he passed on. I had no fucking clue that he was even sick. So definitely it's somber, but like a somber moment for sure after my success at the record show. So yeah, so I guess the show is to Ken. So I'm not gonna even say that like, I don't know where you're at, buddy, you're in the heaven, I'll see you soon, or I have bullshit that people, fucking stupid shit people say. I fucking hate that shit. He's up there in heaven, he's in a better place, and all that fucking lame shit. I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna say thank you, Ken, for letting me get to know you, and if there is eternal peace, I'm hoping you're getting it and you're listening to as much fucking music as possible. Alright, that's it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have another update for you because I got a lot more records that I have not shown yet. I will be doing that probably next week. I want to keep this thing going. I usually do 2-3 weeks, but if you wait too long with the algorithms, it fucks it up. I'm only getting like 8 to 10 views now on this thing, so technically I could probably retire from this fucking shit if I wanted to, but I'm gonna keep doing it. I don't care if people watch it or not, to be honest. At this point, I just like doing it. So see you guys, thanks for watching, and look for a new video probably I'm gonna try to do one every 2 weeks if possible, so look for one in the next week and a half for sure. Everyone have a good Memorial Day weekend. And as my friend Ken would say, rock on.